Hello guys, this is Chetan Chawla and welcome to this session of Fearless Coding. So it has been a while since we have started with coding in C. Now let's see how much we have learned so far and let us implement the two main topics that are the conditional statements and the loops. So let's get going. Let's build a code that asks from us whether to build a triangle or a diamond shape from the stars that are asterisks based on the action we have chosen. So let us begin. We first include the headers that are stdio.h and then conio.h. Then we start the main function void main. Here we start declaring the variables. So let's just declare these now and I'll tell you about their usage later in the code. So we say int n I, j, k space and option. Here n represents the number of rows of the triangle or the diamond which we will get from the user. I, j and k would be used for loops. The space would be a variable which would have the number of spaces in each row that are needed so as to form a triangle or a diamond shape. The option variable would be used to check if the user wants to print a triangle or a diamond. Now let us declare a char variable, that is repeat, and let's give it a value y for now, and also a variable temp which is also character type. In the start, we are in the while loop. The while loop checks the condition that if the character variable is y or any other character. So we will ask at the end of this while loop if the user wants to repeat the program or not. If he wants to repeat the program, he must enter the value y in the character variable. So in a way, we are trying to make a menu-based program in which we will ask the user whether to run the code again or not. So we put an indentation and the first statement is clear screen so as to clear all the things on the screen that were previously printed. Then we write the statement printf and ask the user to press 1 for a triangle shape and 2 for a diamond shape, and then scan that in the option. Now we use a conditional statement, that is switch. In switch we present the argument option. So if the user presses 1, the control would be passed to case 1 and 2 for case 2, and for any other variable which the user presents it would pass on to the default. So now we go to case 1. So if the user presses 1, we want to build a triangle. So we have to first ask the user for the number of the rows. For that we print it and then scan it. Then we set the value of the variable space as n-1, where n is the number of rows. So in the first row I want there must be spaces up to 4 positions and then a star. And then the spaces go on decreasing as we proceed in line by line. That is how a triangle is built. And we start the first for loop with I is equals to 0 and running to n. This would be for the rows. In it we have another for loop with the variable j running from 0 to the number of spaces. This for loop is used to print the spaces till the asterisk, and in the first row we want 4 spaces if the n is 5, and then 3 and then 2 and then 1 and at last 0. So we print a space and then decrement the value of space. After that, we write another for loop with the third variable we have declared earlier, that is k, running from 1 to 2 into I minus 1 and then incrementing each time. This will print odd number of asterisks or stars so as to build the triangle. In the first row, I is 1 and then k goes from 2 into 1 minus 1, that is 1. So we print a star in the first row with 4 spaces. Then in the next row we want 1 star on left of the star and 1 star on right of the star so as to print an equilateral triangle. So we print 2 into I minus 1 when I is 2, k gets value 3 and 3 stars are printed after 3 spaces. And so on. In the next row we will print 5 and then 7 and then 9. This is basically to present the odd numbers. Then we printf /n /n for entering the next row every time we enter the for loop again, and then we break the case. So the case 1 is over. This is the whole statements which are needed to print a triangle. Now if we see, a diamond is a triangle combined with another triangle which is inverted, and both must be similar. So to print that, we build the case 2 and copy exactly what we did in a triangle here. From the edit menu, we select the text, we copy and then paste it. So this I built half the diamond, but we want the full diamond. So for that, we print the inverted diamond. So in the first row of the inverted diamond, we want space to be 1, and then in the next row we want it to be 2 and then 3 and then 4, so that it gets increasing 1 by 1. So we set space is equals to 1 initially and then initialize the for loop. In the for loop, we again use the variable I for number of rows and run it to n. And then inside this for loop, we present another for loop with the variable j taking values from 1 to space and incrementing in each step, and it prints a space bar, and we want it to be increasing, so we write space plus plus. And then the third for loop, which is inside the first for loop. So we use the variable k from 0 to 2n minus j. We see that the value of j after the first for loop would be 2 and n, for example, is 5. That is the number of rows where the diamond divides is 5. So 2 into 5 minus 2 gives us 6, and the loop is running from 0, so it runs 7 times, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And each time it prints a star. So we get 7 stars after the 9 stars, which must be printed in the upward triangle. And then we go to the next row. Here we again use odd number rule when we do 2 into n minus j, and we start from 0. So we print first for 5 rows, we print 7, then 5, then 3, then 1 and then 0. So we have successfully printed the inverted triangle. We break the case and we form the default statement. If the user presses anything else other than 1 and 2, we want to say that this is the wrong action. So we print wrong action and break the default case. Now see, we have still indented the code and we are at a very indented position. This is because of the while loop. We use the while loop in the start where the repeat option was y or n. So in the starting we declared it y. Now we must ask the user if he wants to run the code again or not. So we print want to try again y or n and then new line, and then scan from the user the repeat, that is a character variable, and if the user presses Y, it will repeat and go again to the while loop and starting from clear screen. Now you must ponder that we declared a variable temp in the beginning. So when we run this code, it seems an error that after the default case, when we enter the printf, that is want to try again, it takes enter as a character and gets its ASCII value, and thus repeat has the value of ASCII of enter. So to avoid this, we use a temporary variable, that is character type, so that the enter gets stored in that variable and the repeat takes the value which the user wants to give, that is y or n. And then we write getch and close the word main. And here we are with our code. So let's run it. So it asks whether to print triangle shape or diamond shape. Let's go with the triangle one. Write the number of rows. Let's say that we want to print 5 rows. So it does indeed prints a triangle of stars with 5 rows. Then it asks us to try again or not. So let's say Y, and it is where it was. Now let's do the diamond shape. It asks to write the number of rows where diamond divides. Let's say it 5 2. And here it prints the diamond shape. Perfect. Now let's press N and we exit the code. So now we have finished our code. Now it's time to give you an exercise for yourself. Build the code so as to print this diamond which is empty, which is shown on your screen,